Welcome, guys. Welcome again to another episode of the WSXM podcast, where a united Africa is an undisputed Africa. So, let's get into it. The Tanzanian president actually put this in the newspaper in her country. And she also said this in a press conference that men must marry more wives, which means shook the world a bit, but Africa, the continent. Let me show you a picture of the news article. Look it right there. That's her. But it's men to marry more wives. And also, I'm going to show you an English version. President Samia Suluhu Hassan of Tanzania has made headlines by expressing her support for polygamy and encouraging men to consider marrying multiple wives. So, send shockwaves, I think, across the world. But what people must understand is the African continent does support polygamy. It's legal there. So you cannot use your Western mindset, your Western thinking, impose it on the African continent and say, oh no, that's immoral, that's wrong, it's this way or that way. No. This has been going on from the dawn of time. Well, in Africa anyway. From the dawn of time, from civilization, there's been men polygamy going on. I'm not talking about only kings and princes and warlords and dictators and all that. Regular men can marry more than one wife, up to 4. It can have more wives, but typically it's like up to 4. Some countries limit that. Well, the Muslim faith limited to 4 wives, but it's not as, oh, I'm gonna get 4 wives. No, there's rules and regulations, just like a regular marriage. You have to be able to can maintain, provide, and protect these wives if you do marry them. You have to be able to do all that. And there's for everything there's people who misuse the situation, which does happen, but majority of the time it's actually in those countries that it's legal. It's actually help the community becomes, and it's also, it's a family, so they get to raise their kids more, they have more time for them and so forth. Everything else is good and bad, but I believe polygamy should be practiced only if you can prove you can protect, provide for them. So if you choose not to, no, don't go ahead along with it. But if you choose to, don't complain about it, or do not use your Western mindset, your mind thinking, your way of being brought up, and to impose it on the continent and say, oh, this is that. So let me show you some of the countries that this is legally done in. Let's take a look. So we have Egypt, Tunisia, Niger, Senegal, Mali, Cameroon, Nigeria, Tanzania, of course, Ghana, DRC, the Congo, Chad, Kenya, Uganda, Djibouti, Liberia, Ethiopia, Mozambique, Guinea, Bissau, Burkina Faso, I think Gambia, Guinea, Senegal as well, Cameroon, Algeria, Republic of Congo, which is 2 of them, and the Central African Republic. So those are some of the countries that it's legal in. And it's more countries, but some of them is not recognized because they get westernized, and so they change their laws. But I just come with at least 15 to 20 countries right there that is still legal. And it's not causing any issue in these countries. It's still, they're living quite fine, better than even these Western women who, oh no, polygamy is not this, I can't do that. The mindset, because see, they was brought up through the Western mentality of saying, me alone, and you have to can provide for me, I need the biggest house and biggest car. But in these countries, women think more on family because, for example, in the West, you have all kind of old people home that they take, when people reach a certain age, they stick them in these homes, kids, and forget about them, and then they'll visit, they just pay the bill and say, okay, take care of my parents, and then they can live the life. But on the continent, they take care of the elder ones until they die, and they also use them for their knowledge, speak to them, talk to them, and they also help groom the younger generation. But the West is the opposite. So you see, in the West, we discard our elderlies. On the continent of Africa, we embrace and hold our elderlies on a more higher standard, like on a podium up here. Like she's an elder, so you can go to them for advice, for history lessons, and just to be with them, to make they know that their family loves them and stuff like that. So it's different on the continent, and me personally, I don't have an issue with it. And some people who say they have an issue with it, they understand that now because what? They are westernized and they're materialistic colonized. They're not emancipated mentally. They're still under chain and bondage by their mindset. Still up to today. Can't help it. That's how people are. You cannot do nothing about that. But so yeah. But also that's one of the reasons I think why the continent is one of the fastest growing continents, because multiple wives mean multiple kids. And again, the African continent produce brilliant prodigies, engineers, mathematicians, scholars, doctors, lawyers, the inventors. The continent is reeked with abilities. When it comes down to sport as well, especially running and athletics in general, soccer, you name it, it's there. So it's not like the continent, it's just making, and then there's no benefit. There is a lot of benefit currently for that. Anyway, but as I said, for those of you who don't know what polygamy is, there's three of them. You have polygamy, polyandry, polygamy. Let me put it up and I'll show the meaning of it. For those who don't know the meaning, not everyone. Some people don't know the meaning of it. Polygamy. Polygamy is a practice of one man marrying two or more women. Polygamy is much more common than polyandry. Now, for those of you who don't know what polyandry is, let's dive into that. Polyandry, for the feminist people who like, say, all those feminists who like to talk about, if you can do it, we can do it too. Listen, what polyandry is. Polyandry is when one woman marries two or more men. So, it's not a one-sided thing. You have polygamy, polyandry, but it's not practice as much as polygamy because, we know the reason for that. And there's one more. Give me a second. Sorry, give me 1 minute. Polyganandry is a group marriage. Our group marriage is really practiced. Really, because I don't really actually hear of that. But it's something like, in a Western mindset, it would be more like a swingers couple, like when you have 3-4 married couple come together and they sleep with each other, husband and wife. I think it's something like that. And sometimes they are in, that concept of sharing spouses between spouses, but it's like in a household instead of random people, random couples. So that's like polygamy. Sorry, polyandry. I think it's pronounced. It's tying my tongue up. If you can pronounce it better than me, bravo. But yeah, so you have polygamy and polyandry, which are the two most common ones, where a woman can marry more than one husband and vice versa. But yeah, so for those families who are saying, oh yeah, polygamy is immoral and why we can do it too? You can't. It's accepted on the African continent and in some African countries where you can marry more than one man. Now it's for you to find the two men to marry to. That's the issue. That's our 3 or 4. I think 4 is the max. But if you can, I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen videos of it where they actually live okay, but I don't know how long it lasts or how many people actually practices this. It's not a common practice like polygamy. So anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. As always, tell a friend, like, comment, share, subscribe. Boom.